So around 2 years back, I took a calculated risk to quit my 9 to 5 job as an electronics engineer to pursue the digital nomad lifestyle. I started a tech consulting business, switched countries, and so far it's going great. I don't come from a wealthy family, I don't have a lot of contacts, and definitely I'm not the smartest engineer out there, but whatever I have learned over the years, I give all the credits to a lot of different books. But for now today, I want to recommend these 3 books that definitely changed my life. Coming up in this video, let's go. Hi, my name is Zayan and I'm on the mission to equip you with the right tools that help you navigate the life adventures, and sometimes these tools happen to be the books. So today I'm recommending 3 books that I give a lot of credit that absolutely I think changed my life. So one book is about personal finance and also about freedom, retire early movement. The other book is how you can achieve creative freedom and location independence. And last but not the least is the book that absolutely changed the way I look at the world and help me develop new mental models. So let's start with the very first one, the book on the personal finance, and this is called Quit Like a Millionaire by Christy Shen. So this is the book that I came across around 3 to 4 years back. This is not a very famous book, I would say. Not many people talk about this book, but this is, I think, a great book for someone who wants to retire early, who wants to understand personal finances, who want to understand how the power of compounding work, who want to understand that how they can become millionaire by just having a regular job. So this book, Quit Like a Millionaire, No Gimmick, Luck or Trust Fund Required, is written by Christy Shen and her husband Bryce Luang. And this book talks about financial independence, retire early or FIRE movement that is very much hyped up today. Everyone wants to retire early and travel the world and do all sort of things that they love. And this book absolutely gets you into the taste of what it likes to be retiring early, what it takes to plan your retirement, how much funds you require to retire, how to sustain your lifestyle after you stopped working, and how you can build a portfolio that will take care of all the expensive after you have attained retirement. So in this book, the author Christy is from China and she moved to US for studies and later got a job as a software engineer. And इसमें इसने बताया कि how she ended up saving a lot of money and invested the money in the right funds and later achieve financial independence and she retired early. बहुत जरूरी होता है saving करना and investment करना आज के time में, especially for a retirement fund. But if you plan your retirement right, you can retire early with a lot of good corpus that can sustain your lifestyle for many years to come. So as I mentioned in this book, author Christy talked about her life journey, how she started as a very humble family, very humble beginning in China, later moved to US for studies and then joined as a software engineer. So let me share the few lessons that I took from this book, and the very first one of them is don't follow your heart, first follow the numbers. And it's a great lesson for anyone. आजकल हम हर जगह सुनते हैं कि follow your passion, follow your heart, do whatever you like and make a career out of it. But Christy specifically talk about that that's a bullshit advice. If you want to do something that you love, then do it after the retirement, do it after you have enough money that can sustain that part. So over here, Christy really loves traveling, but instead of traveling every 6 months, taking vacation from the holidays, and basically whatever she's earning, whatever she's saving, instead of putting that to the vacation, she built a corpus, and later on, once she have enough corpus, once she have enough money, enough amount that can sustain her living, then she quit her job and started traveling. So simple सा lesson ये है कि सीधा अपना blindly heart मत follow करो, just do the maths. If that's sustainable, then do it. Otherwise, just lay down for some time, follow the numbers, do the math, see how much you require after the retirement, see how much you really need to do something that you love. So first do that, make a lot of money, and then once you have enough money, then you can retire and follow what you want to do. You can follow your passions, whether it's traveling, whether it's going on vacations, yachting, roller skate, whatever that you want to do. So that is the first lesson that I took from this book. And the second lesson from this book that I really like is if you really want to be happy, then stop buying stuff. We think that our happiness is within the next iPhone or something that we want to buy, then we will feel happy, but that's not the case. Whenever you buy that thing, there's always the next thing waiting in the line. So if you really want to be happy, अगर आपको सच में खुश होना है, so don't attach your happiness to different things rather than just disjoint them. Live a minimal life, live a frugal life, and save as much money as possible. I know it's really hard, especially for me as well, because I really like buying stuff for different things. I have a lot of expensive hobbies, drones, videography, whatnot, but I'm really trying to get into the picture where minimalism is something that I want to go forward to. Buy the things that are really useful, that are investments, buy assets, and don't buy the liabilities. That's the second lesson that I take from this book. Lesson number 3 that I take from this book is invest and let the compound interest show its magic. So compound interest is like the 8th wonder of this world, and to truly see the magic of the compound interest, then you have to invest the money and keep the money for long term, as long as possible. Just invest it in low cost index funds and invest it in any mutual funds or stock market, SIPs, and then let your money sit there for a long time. And long time, I'm talking about 10 years, 20 years only, then you will see the magic. If you want to check out how much your money will grow if you invest 10 lakhs today after 10 years or 20 years, I will leave a link to calculate down below. And if you want me to make a video on how you can start investing, then let me know. I can definitely do that. But the lesson over here is invest your money and let the compound interest show its magic over the long term. Alright, the last lesson from this book is not actually a lesson, but a new concept that I learned when I first read this book. It's called FIRE, or Financial Independence Retire Early. So basically, FIRE number is the amount of corpus that you need to retire to sustain your life. And how it starts is, first you calculate how much expenses you need to sustain your life for 1 year, and that will give you the FIRE number. That will give you कितने पैसे आपको चाहिए, corpus आपको build करना है to sustain your lifestyle even without working. And if you achieve that corpus, then congratulations, you can retire, and your corpus will take care of your expenses for throughout the year. Alright, so that was the first book that changed my life, and I would recommend to read that if you want to improve your personal finances and retire early. Alright, talking about the next book, it's called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And Tim Ferriss is a great author, great entrepreneur. Tim Ferriss has a great podcast. He's a big name in the industry, in the entrepreneur circle. And this book, 4-Hour Work Week, is not a new book. It's relatively an old book, and I have read this book so many times. You can see that even the cover is torn off. And to be honest, this book is old, and not everything in this book is still relevant in today's time, but still the overall philosophy that Tim likes to present, the overall thought process is still very much relevant. And the 4-Hour Work Week is from the title itself. It's 4 घंटे काम करना है हफ्ते में to have the lifestyle. And who don't want that? Look at the cover, someone enjoying on the beach, on a cabana and things like that. Like, escape the 9 to 5, live anywhere, join the new rich. And मैं हमेशा से advocate करता आया हूँ for creative freedom and location independence. And that was the one book that made me closer to reach location independence, where I become a digital nomad and work from anywhere. So also this book has a lot of different lessons for everyone, but the key 4 lessons that I like to share with you is, number 1, the Pareto's principle. That means the 80% of the results are being brought by 20% of the efforts, and you need to figure what those efforts are. So simple सा अगर मैं example लूँ, so I'm running a tech consulting business, and मेरा 80% जो revenue आता है, that comes from the top 20% of the clients. So I need to focus on those clients. I need to make sure that they stick around, because 80% of my revenue are coming only from the 20% of the clients. Usually what people do when they start a business or anything, they focus on the remaining 20%, but for that remaining 20% you have to put 80% more efforts, and that's not something that you should do. So focus on the 20% of the efforts, 20% of the things. Figure out what are those 20% of things that will bring maximum results, 80% of results, and then you can think about how you can achieve 100% of the results, but that's something for later. So always remember this, there are 20% of things that you need to focus on that will bring 80% of the results. Lesson number 2 from the book 4-Hour Work Week is outsourcing is the thing. So there are a lot of times when people forget to outsource, people don't want to give the control. So for example, for a very, very long time, I was editing my videos, I was editing my reels, and it was taking a lot of time. Because I run a full-time tech consulting business, I was focusing on that. So I am not getting enough time to put on YouTube, to put on Instagram, but now I have hired my editor. I have outsourced my editing work to someone else. I'm paying them. So basically my remote tech consulting business is bringing me much of the money, and I'm investing that money to an editor, and my editor is someone who is giving me videos so I can post on a consistent schedule. So also you have seen that I'm posting consistently on YouTube on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I'm posting on Instagram or every alternate days different reels. So that is only possible because I have read in this book that you should always outsource the things and become more efficient. So yeah, always remember that whenever it's possible, outsource the stuff that you can. And the third lesson that I've taken from this book is work smart, not hard. So a lot of people think that the only way to reach success is by working hard, but that's not the case in today's time. You need to be smart about it, you need to be strategic about it. So बहुत सारे ऐसे एग्जांपल हैं इस बुक के अंदर, how you can work smart, automation का कैसे यूज कर सकते हो आप outsourcing का कैसे यूज कर सकते हो. You can actually hire a personal assistant sitting somewhere in the different part of the world for very cheap, and they will take care of your day-to-day works. And as I mentioned, this book is a relatively old book, so इसमें AI का mention नहीं है, but especially आज के time में you can use LLMs, you can use AI bots, and you can also automate a lot of different things. So use tools, use automation, use people, outsource, and work smart, and don't really work hard all the time. So the fourth and the most important lesson that I've taken from this book, The 4-Hour Work Week, is that of selective ignorance. So selective ignorance is a bliss, and this is something that resonates with me because I am the person who always like to check my email mailbox all the time, every hour. I just see if there is any mail coming from my client or anything that someone requires. But this book has taught me that you don't have to do that. For example, here Tim recommends that you only check your mail once or twice every week. I know that's not the case for me now. I still check my mail at least once or twice every day. But what Tim is trying to say is have a selective ignorance. Ignore करो उन चीजों को जो मैटर नहीं करती. Sometimes we think कि बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो मैटर करती है, that will impact our business, that will impact our revenue. But if you really ignore them for some time, you will see that उसका कोई इफेक्ट ही नहीं है लंबे टाइम तक. They are just in our head that we are thinking it's gonna impact us, but actual में having ignorance is a bliss, and you should definitely practice selective ignorance. So that are the lessons that I am taking away from the book 4-Hour Work Week. Amazing book, amazing author, and do follow Tim Ferriss. He's great. He also mentioned that having a creative freedom is amazing that, for example, he's learning salsa sometimes in Mexico and sometimes he's learning Muay Thai in Thailand. So this is the book that actually pushed me towards creative freedom and location independence. And if you also want to set up a business that have both those things, then definitely highly recommend read this book. Alright, moving to the third book that absolutely changed the way I looked at the world is Thinking in Systems by Donella Meadows. And oh my god, I cannot stress about this book. This is a very complicated book. I actually have to read this 4 to 5 times to actually understand the concepts. And again, this is not something that everyone would recommend. You will not see this book being recommended by many people. And I accidentally came across this book. I was working for a company where a lot of people were talking about it, and I decided to pick it. As I mentioned, it's not a very straightforward book. It requires you to have analytical thinking, critical thinking mindset, a lot of different mental models, and it requires you to keep a worldview as a system. So easy nahi hai ye book padhna. मैं अभी भी कई बार इसको दोबारा पढ़ता हूँ because you can still see I have a bookmark over here. So again, not an easy book to read, but I would highly recommend that you pick this up. So this book have a lot of lessons and key takeaways. Basically, this book will develop your mental model, so you have a new vision to look at this world. ये book पढ़ने के बाद आप दुनिया को पूरे अलग नजरिए से देखने वाले हो. So that is something that I would highly recommend for people who want to develop mental models. Then don't neglect Thinking in Systems. It's a Bible. It's something that will give you new mental models, new tools to look at the world. But yeah, some key takeaways that I want to discuss with this book is look at the world as entire system and not just additions of a lot of different components. So इसको easily break down करने के लिए let me give you one example. So China के अंदर जब communist revolution आया था, so उनकी बहुत complaint थी कि जो local sparrows होती हैं, they eat their crops and उसकी वजह से yield is not good. So what they did, they ordered everyone to bring sparrows and kill the sparrows, and whoever bring the sparrow, they will get some money. So what people did, they started shooting sparrows and they collect sparrows and they take it to police station and government and they will get money. So eventually they thought that after killing sparrows, they will have a great yield, great agriculture result. But हुआ इसका एकदम उल्टा. They got the worst famine in the history of China. A lot of people died because of the famine. There was no food to eat. And उसके बाद scientists ने बोला कि चलो, what's the reason? Let's check it out. And when they cut open a body of the killed sparrow, they see that the sparrows was eating larvae that were destroying their crops. So basically, जो sparrow जो larva को मार रही थी, जो crops destroy कर रहे थे, उन्होंने उस sparrow को ही मार दिया, and they disrupt the entire food cycle, and that was the reason China was hit by the worst famine in their history. So this is how you look at the world as a system. You cannot kill a sparrow because the sparrow is eating your grains. You have to look at it as a system. The sparrow also eats the larva that will destroy your grains, and that's what happened to China. So this is a great example of looking at the world as a system where everything is interconnected and everything affects one another thing. Talking about the second lesson from this book, again, it's a bit complicated, but stay with me here, and it's don't look at the system as a sum of all these components. And I don't know how to give the example, but let's take an example of this video. So this video will only look good if I have the right lighting, right camera, right settings, right audio, and if I remove anything from here, the video will not be looking as good as it's looking now. So we don't have to look at it as sum of lights, camera, and sound. It also something how working everything is together in unison, in harmony. And I know this is a bit complicated to understand now, but once you read the book, you will really develop new mental models and you will have a new vision to look at the world in a different perspective. Last but not the least, this book teaches that it's very important to understand how to read graphs, how to read flowcharts, how to read system diagrams, how to read the schematics and all those things, because this book is filled with them. So in the almost every page, you will find a lot of different graphs, you will find a lot of different architecture diagrams, you will find a lot of different system diagrams. So I highly recommend that you pick this book if you really want to develop new mental models and have a new perspective to life. And once you read this book, or once you understood this book, you will actually see the world with a different lens. You will see how everything is connected to one another and how you don't have to move one thing because it's gonna disrupt everything, and that is where the real growth starts. So now I have this vision where I see everything as a system, and it's really helping me in my life, in my business, in my relationships. So again, a great book that I want to recommend. Everyone should read Thinking in Systems, whoever have a growth mindset. Alright, so these were the 3 books that absolutely changed my life, and I hope you decide to pick this up and read this. I'm giving away 1 copy of each this book to one of the lucky winners. So just comment which book you want, and I will pick 3 winners, and one will get Quit Like a Millionaire, one of you will get Thinking in System, and one of the lucky winner will get 4-hour Workweek. So I look forward to seeing your comment, and if you want to know more about my journey of digital nomad, then definitely check out this video. And if you want to check out what all the tools that I carry as digital nomad to get my work done, then this video will help you out. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed this video, and on that note, I'm gonna see you in the next one.